will not succeed. It will not succeed. That I can bet my last dollar. They may have their way now, but it will be an exercise in futility, because when the next government comes and they will not be there ad infinitum, they will just throw this in the dustbin. Look, the long and short of my piece of advice to UPND is this. Maybe you want to do this constitutional amendment. Maybe you mean well. Maybe you think it will help the country. But please do it properly. Ensure that you marshal consensus. Ensure that the process is transparent. Ensure that it broadly gets on board as many citizens as possible. That's a long and short of my piece of advice. You probably mean well, probably your intentions are good, but please just get to do this process properly. And how it is done properly is not something new. It has been done before. The precedents are there. So we're not asking anybody to reinvent the wheel. That's really my honest piece of advice to our colleagues in the UPND.
There's an argument that there's one way in which this has been done before, but
which way
it's not the way that you were saying is the precedent on how, history has demonstrated how this can be done. But there's also the thought that that's not the only way that the Constitution can be amended. And the UPND is saying, well, this way is another way that the Constitution can be amended, this way that they have charted.
It will not succeed. It will not succeed. That I can bet my last dollar. They may have their way now, but it will be an exercise in futility, because when the next government comes and they will not be there ad infinitum, they will just throw this in the dustbin. Is that how HH wants to be remembered? Surely not, in my view. Okay? So the issue of we have the numbers should not be the argument. The issue that we have the numbers should not be the argument, because I'll tell you, numbers in politics lie. It is in mathematics where numbers don't lie. In politics, numbers lie. So, if I were at the center of this, I would make sure that I get into place a process whose product is going to stand the test of time. Any other way, it's a short-term victory, and I don't think anybody wants to be, to get involved in a process where you want to be remembered in the short term and not in the long term, and not leave a legacy in the long term. That's my honest view.
The Minister of Justice has been on record as having said, while this introduction by the UPND may be new now, but there's been several commissions that have been set up to review the Constitution.
Yes.
And she argues that these ones must then not be considered as being redundant. We should look at these proposals that were there then, and they should still be valid as consensus that has been built over the years, culminating into what the government is proposing today. What do you think about this line of thought by the Minister of Justice?
It is not new, John. It's not a new argument. That was the position of PF pre-2011. Michael Sata campaigned on the pedestal that he's going to give the Zambian people a new constitution, a repealed constitution, repeal the 1991 constitution with its 1995 amendments, and give the Zambian people a completely new product. And he argued that that new product did not have to involve the people again, because the people have spoken, going way back to 1972-73 with the Chona Commission, ending up with the Mungomba Constitutional Review Commission. When this process started, Minister Hakainde then, as Minister of Justice, said, we are just going to deal with the non-contentious issues. Even at that time, the question that begged the answer was, who was going to decide that this is contentious and this is non-contentious? That answer has not been given. Secondly, when you look at the proposals now, they are extremely contentious. Extremely contentious. If you are going to increase the number of nominated MPs from 8 to beyond 8, that's a contentious issue. Where would they come from? What is the criterion you are going to use to get these whatever number of MPs that you want to bring in? You are proposing to change the electoral system from the first past the post, which has been a system we have used from 1964, to the quota system or to the PR system. Isn't that a contentious matter that requires the consensus of the Zambian people? Surely it is. Is the problem about the high cost of living today predicated on
are not in support of the proposed amendments to the Constitution that this government has presented?
I don't support
even the amendments, apart from the fact that you feel this has been rushed, you feel that there is need for consensus, you also don't agree with these proposed amendments.
In fact, my argument is not about it being rushed. My argument is that it is a process which leaves the people behind. That's basically my argument. And my plea to UPND is get people on board. Is that a very difficult plea? No. And that all the past administrations have made. They have tried to own the Constitution to the exclusion of the people, but purporting to speak in the name of the people. And it has failed. It has failed. And without exception, these are laws of nature. Without exception, if this is done the same way, using the same past formula, it shall fail. If success means that you have succeeded now because you have the numbers, then it means you don't know what success is. Because success must be part of your legacy. It must turn you into somebody immortal after you are gone. But to be going to groups of people and start lecturing to them that the reason why you want to do this is because of this, and people are just quiet and they're just looking at you. That's not how it is done. Okay? That's not how it is done. People must be allowed to participate. I want to participate. Okay? If there are people that have already participated, like it has been said, there are submissions out there, publish them. We want to see them. Are we asking for too much? No. Is this going to circumvent the process? No. We just want to know who has said what. Verbatim. That's what the other Constitutional Review Commissions have done. I've heard the argument that, no, you see, this is just an amendment to the Constitution and the only institution given those powers is the Constitution, is Parliament. Given the powers in the Constitution is Parliament. Granted, it still goes back to the question. Just get me one member of Parliament who has held a meeting in his or her constituency and the issue of the Constitution has come up.
So, with all this